Hi, welcome along to fire safety training. I'm Martin Marmoy-Haynes and I'll be taking you through the quiz. If you haven't done the quiz, if it's a very short session, we'll still be going through all of the essential things that you need to know. The learning objective today is to reduce the risk of death or serious injury from fire, and to a lesser degree property damage. Obviously that is important, but our prime goal today is to keep you alive and get you out of the building.
So talk me through the fire triangle.
Fire triangle is a very basic idea. It really means what are the three things that you need to bring together to make a fire, and they are combustible material like wood, paper and cloth, or a liquid fuel like petrol, or even a gaseous fuel like lighter fluid that comes out as a gas. And then you bring in an ignition source like a flame or a spark or heat, and you combine that with oxygen, which is in the air around us, and then you'll get the fire. If you want to put the fire out, you need to take one of those away, and that's why we use a fire extinguisher, which I'll talk through later.
Thanks. What are some of the ignition sources within the workplace?
In this workplace, I'm in an office today, so the main ignition source here would be electrical equipment. The biggest ignition source across the UK generally is found to be cooking. So that's when we're cooking in the evening, lots of fires are at home. Here it would be a breakout point, staff canteen, that type of thing, where we've got the microwave, the kettle, maybe even a toaster, something like that. Then we'd move down to, yes, electrical equipment, that's the second biggest cause of fires. After that, another ignition source is smoking, and the fourth biggest cause is portable heaters, little fan heaters and radiant fires.
And what about fuel sources at work?
Fuel sources, the most common one is combustible materials, that's wood, paper and cloth. Again, typical in an office, lots of wood and paper. We've got fabric coverings, yes these are fire retardant, but they will burn if they get hot enough. What else do we have that will burn? As I mentioned earlier, liquid fuel, so in an industrial setting there could be flammable liquids. Offices can have them, sometimes I've found bottles of solvent and some cleaning sprays if they're alcohol based. So plenty to look out for.
Great. And what about oxygen?
Oxygen is in the air, it's 21% all around us as we speak. So the basic thing you can do if there is a fire is close all doors and windows. If your office doesn't have opening windows, that's fine, you're already sealed in, so I would close the doors. If we can turn off the air conditioning, that will stop anything blowing on us. Very often when you raise the fire alarm, so you break the manual call point, that shuts off the airflow, which again makes us safer. We're looking at means of escape. Follow your running man sign and you'll soon find a way out. There's another directional arrow here leading me to a fire door. In this particular workplace, you press the button to release a magnetic lock through the fire door. I've got a really nice fire door here. It's 60-minute fire rated, intumescent strips and smoke seals. We've got fire rated glass, we've got signage, it's all looking really good. I've got emergency lighting just here so that we can see even if there's a power failure. Moving into this area, this is the fire protected lobby. So when that door closes, I've got 60-minute protection if I'm here from a fire in the office. If I can't go down the stairs, I've also got protection there. If you did have someone that couldn't escape because they're mobility impaired, we've got the emergency fire phone. Now they're not in every building, but if you do have them, very simple. I pick up this phone and I know what happens in this building. The engineer says hello and he's right at the other end of the phone, so that's great. Moving through, I'll be on the stairs. In this particular workplace, it's recommended that we hold a handrail. Sensible precaution considering how many people suffer slip, trips and falls in the workplace. Now this building, this particular office has excellent signage, as you'll see. Running man fire exit signs, keep moving, straight ahead. Let's find our way straight ahead. And we've reached the final fire exit door to the street. When you do reach the final door, obviously it's not always glass, sometimes you can't tell. There could be a large push bar, and it will say push bar to exit. Here, push pad. Nice and easy to operate. I'm out in the fresh air, and then obviously make sure you know where your assembly point is. I found some extinguishers. The particular ones in this office are foam and CO2. All extinguishers generally red. The foam one has a cream patch here. This one is good for combustible materials and also flammable liquids. It would be suitable for things like petrol, diesel and oil fires. So very straightforward to use. I'll take it to where I need to, pull the pin, do a short test, and then aim at the base of the fire or gently cover the flammable liquid as you can see in the video. This one, CO2. This is good for electrical fires. You can also use, if you look at the pictures on flammable liquids, for this particular one, pull the pin, raise the funnel, keep your hand off this because it can get cold. I normally support them like this, and then I can again do a small test before I aim at my computer or the electrics. Stand a metre or two away, gently squeeze. Very straightforward. The signs on the wall help me because they just back up what's written on the extinguisher. So foam, CO2. If I move through this door, I know there are some others, and interestingly, they're identical, apart from their nice chrome finish. They look completely different, but that's foam. There's the picture, combustibles, flammable liquids, CO2, and there's the picture for electrics or flammable liquids. So signs identical. Here's a water extinguisher. The signs on the wall remind you what to do. It's one of the chromium ones, so exactly the same, they're normally red, this particular one's chrome. So what's it used for? Combustible materials, so this is wood, paper and cloth, not to be used on electrics, not to be used on flammable liquids. Again, what you need to do is pull the pin, take out the hose, do a short test, and then you aim at the base of the fire, 1 or 2 metres away, and squeeze and gently fight it. Always make sure that you have your clear escape route and you're not cut off. By plant rooms where there's lots of electrical equipment, you might find one of these large CO2 extinguishers. This one is 5 kilos, it's quite heavy, so again, use the knees and keep yourself nice and upright. What you do with this one is take the funnel off. The funnel will get cold during discharge, so there's a holding point just here which keeps you away from the cold. This gets down to minus 76 or 77 degrees C, so certainly able to cause frostbite if you had your fingers here or holding it. Pull the pin, it's so heavy you might want to just move it to where it's more convenient, and then you can hold this, squeeze the trigger and fight the fire in the electrics if it's safe to do so. If you do need to use a fire blanket, typically you find them in the kitchen. This is how you do it. Pull down on the tabs, come out here, open it up, protect your knuckles in this way so that they're not exposed to heat or flames, and then place it over the object that's on fire. Here's a microwave. Place in a smooth action. Once that's covered, if you can and it's safe, make sure the power is off, and then of course make sure that the fire brigade is called. On this particular staircase, I've just noticed this large, nice refuge point sign here. And what there is a refuge call device here. The idea is if someone really can't make it down the stairs, they can wait here or you can wait with them. Probably more important if you're a fire marshal to understand these procedures, but call here and at least you can speak to someone in security on the ground floor who might be able to bring the lift up, a fire lift, and rescue you. To find your fire assembly point, find your fire action notice. It's pretty straightforward. Sound the alarm, leave the building by the nearest available exit, report to your assembly point at, and it's written here for you, and then some do not return to the building until authorised to do so, and of course, do not use the lift. If you do discover a fire, stop what you're doing immediately. This might be some flames coming out of equipment or some smoke. Immediately head for the exit. Raise the alarm by pressing here. This is the break glass or the manual call point. That will get the alarm going throughout the building. If there is a door release, that will automatically release this that I'm having to do, and I evacuate. Get out of danger. Close doors and windows as you go. only tackle if safe. There are extinguishers here. If you think it's not safe, leave the building immediately.
What action do you take on hearing a continuous alarm?
If you're at work and you hear a continuous alarm, it's very, very simple. Stop what you're doing and head for that exit. So what we're going to do is evacuate from the building as we leave the area we're in, close any doors and windows, anything that's open at all, and obviously if you happen to see the fire, only tackle if it's safe and you've also been trained.